So after our last interview, Cuban shared some of his feelings about the things you said, and he didn't agree with you saying Joe is a real dude when it comes to the streets. I tried to explain that you were talking about the street side of things, like him holding his own in the streets, and he's not talking about the industry stuff. Like, that's different. Like, what he did in the industry is different than what you're referring to, right?
Man, roll the clip. But to be fair, though, right? Toom was saying that he was real in the streets as far as being a fighter.
Yeah.
What he did in the industry after those years is separate from that. And I think that
that didn't happen in the industry between him and him. Between him and Joe, that happened before the industry.
I know, but he was saying that Joe was real as far as being a real fighter in the streets. Like, he's not a punk. That's what he meant by Joe being real.
I don't think but I know. I agree.
But people that watched that clip got upset because they were saying, how can you be real if you steal from your brother and you do this and you do that, right?
That's the part.
I know. That's what he did in the industry is different. That's not what Toom was talking about, though. That's not what Toom was talking about.
I understand, but that's the problem when you give somebody props like that in this podium where it's like, it's like...
It could be misconstrued, is what you're saying.
Right.
Okay.
Right. It's like, I mean, I see where Toom is going. See, growing up, he's trying to change his life. He really doesn't want to hold on to no bad, you know what I'm saying? Now that I'm at war for fucking 30 years, niggas want to make their fucking life like, you know what I'm saying? And I can't blame them.
It's not 30 years yet.
They don't want problems.
It's 23 years.
Well, to me, I know that, but me, I rounded off to the nearest fucking century. You know me.
Century?
So, I just think that with Cuban, he has a lot of animosity, a lot of anger, and given he has the right for that. But what I was speaking of was 1000% in the street when we was in the streets. Like, remember, Cuban came afterwards also. He wasn't there from the beginning.
Right.
From the beginning where we all ran in the streets and the beginning of Terror Squad and the shit that we did in the block, a lot of things that we did at parties, a lot of things that we did at the centers and at the Crotona Park pool. Dude, a lot of shit, a lot of foul, grimy shit that we did. And he wasn't
just to
there.
remind people, you saw Joe put up his hands and fight people. You said that he wasn't a shooter, but he did handle his business when it came to his knuckle game.
Joe used to always come and get us. No bullshit. Always came and got us when he had beef. When he had a problem with somebody, when he had beef with somebody, he would always come get us. We'll all go with him 50, 60 deep, because that's how much of us was in one block. We was like, it was crazy. Like, it was crazy, dog. We was always together. It was a big clique. And we used to always be together. We used to roll together. And when Joe used to have beef with anybody, we used to roll with Joe. But when we get there, you know what I'm saying, and the dude, whoever Joe had beef with, it was always with the hands. And, it was never to that point. There was a couple of situations when it turned to guns type thing, but not with Joe, not for Joe. There was other things that happened with, that guns came out. But with everything with Joe, but from what I saw, Joe always threw his hands, always, saying stuff like that. And then after the fact, then 60 people will be on that dude and practically forget about it. It was just not a good scene after that.
So Joe always won?
I mean, as in what I saw with fights and stuff like that, I've never seen, Joe got punched in his face a couple of times. But Joe punched niggas in their face too a couple of times. I'm not gonna take that away from anything, from being real.
Right.
I'm not gonna take it away from that. Now, when I talk about that, now we talking about we used to run up on shit with the guns and everything, and then Joe used to be like, out the MPV with the gun, bang, 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 or just run up or pistol whip somebody or do never that, never, ever that, never that. You know what I'm saying? So. All of us used to take the blunts for all of that. We were the ones that would carry the guns for Joe. And I know that I wasn't there at this part from where they was already doing shows and they was already popular radio, Terror Squad and all that stuff and everything like that. It was the same situation because niggas would tell me straight up, Oh, this happened, that happened. You know what I'm saying? Fucking, I was holding burn. I was holding this. I was holding that. You know, had Joe's back. I used to make sure that Joe go in the car. And then that's just telling me that it never changed. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. People were there just for security purpose.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Security purpose. That's it. That's it. It wasn't nothing else. That's why you have like for example, your other guy.
Who?
Let's see if you know what I'm talking about.
Who's my other guy?
Your other guy.
TA?
He is. It's like TA. It's just like TA.
Right.
Like TA was there for all of this stuff. He has his story, right?
Right.
He has his truth. And he sees all of this shit, right? And it was all, things are adding up. And I'm not saying nothing or making it up, but from hearing what I'm hearing, TA was used as a pawn as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, TA, go do this. TA, go do that. TA, go rock this nigga. Go rock that nigga. But why you can't do it yourself? You know why? Because you can't.
To be fair though, okay? Because do you think that it's smarter for Joe, since he is the main celebrity and the breadwinner, to not do that?
Listen, I hear what you're going to get to. I know what you're going to get to. But let me tell you something. Don't glorify or say that you say something, that you're something and you're not. You can't claim full gangster, but you never popped off. And when I say popped off, I'm talking about, with the burners, or, you always got a burner on you, always carrying, all that shit. And gangsters do that. You know why? Because gangsters are the only niggas that people be looking at to pop at. You feel what I'm saying? So you got to have all that. You can't claim all of these different things, but how can you claim it? You can't claim that. You can't claim that. It's just crazy to me, man.